Mm. How's all doing? Just here up in Carthy's. I was going to make a big deal of doing a pre-show, but I don't have the time and I don't have the. Hi, Anne. How are you keeping? Cool seeing you there for Evan's 35th. That was pretty awesome. I hope you're doing well. Evan's such a sweet boy. And there's Stink. See, Stink, I told you I'd make you into a mod. I'm just up here in Carthy's having a few before I head back and do my stream for the evening. I tried to do a stream with not stream. I tried to add Chaos Gamer as a mod, but for some reason I put his thing in to the mod bar and then I hit enter and nothing. It has vanished off the face of the earth. So I'm guessing when he pops up, I will just add him as a mod. So yeah, you and Lunatic, and I've also got Nightbot, but I have no idea what sort of commands to give Nightbot, so he's going to stay over there in the corner. It is. But, so, Nightbot doesn't count, so it would be Lunatic, you, Chaos Gamer. So I still have two free. Once I've got a bigger, later on today when I'm doing the Wasted Wednesdays, this is just like a pre-stream. He's just got me in the corner, the cook. He's in the cook tent. He's in the not mod tent. It is currently, Jesus, it's, it's about quarter to 9 here, 9 in the evening. I'm here, the pub is pretty bare bones. I've shown it before. I've shown it in the middle of summer. Now you can see it in the middle of winter. Oh, it's absolutely freezing. Update, I didn't get the job. I went for the interview. They were very nice, and they said maybe in February when they need a few extra hands. But right now, nothing. I had to ask anyway. So I'm not worried. Still, I woke up early for that shit. That is the main thing. Good thing I got a nap in between. Yeah, I'll get something down the line, but and you know maybe I'll get that job in Feb. But right now, I probably won't hear anything until the end of the year. She was very nice though. They were all very nice. Yeah, I mean, and I wasn't like pissy or anything. In fact, they were surprised how I sounded, how I acted. They had this different idea of me. I think because I'm a dub, they expected me to be like, what's an American equivalent? A sort of like ghetto. I'm sure you've said this before, Anne, but what exactly is your job? If you don't mind me asking. You know me. I'm usually asleep when all you guys are streaming, so I never really get to, experience it firsthand unless I'm awake, which might happen tonight. But if it does, I'm going to be drunk because Chris got me a bottle of Morgan's up at the shop, so I'm doing Morgan's tonight. Oh, cool. Pretty straightforward job. that's actually what I would have been ending up doing. It was a coffee shop, but the coffee shops over here also double up with doing a lot of food. Um, they do a large number of. They make their own like quiches and things like that. Little tiny quiches. They look gorgeous. You can hear the match. You can hear the match in the background. Cook's Life in the background is healthcare. Oh, so like a nurse or a therapist or what? Well, easy to a point. You still have to learn the basics. I know how to cook. I mean, I can say, I'm actually not terrible at one or two dishes. If I ever have, if I ever get guests over, again, I'll have to make my spicy tuna casserole. Mm. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing outdoor catering next year, and they're going to need a few extra hands. And she said that's probably the ideal. That working kitchens all my life. Oh, I feel bad for you. When I was working at parties in America, when I was delivering game tables and the like, I ended up getting a lot of experience of how shitty it is in those big hotels. I mean, Jesus, I felt so sorry for them. Of course, some of them were absolute dicks. Yeah, I mean, like, there must be something about it that appeals to you. Then again, Ashley from that tasting video I did not too long ago, she has worked food all her life, and she's absolutely sick of it. Yeah, like all jobs, I imagine. I'll be probably here for New Year's, by the way. This pub. I'll be probably here for there. I'll be probably here for here. Yeah, I think I'll be here for here. But I've spent a few New Year's here. I used to go down to Carrick for that because it's so crazy on New Year's Eve in Carrick on Shannon. But not this year. Not this year because finances. What you make me? Yeah, of course. You know, we all find our niches. Mine, for example, is like the stock room in the back, where I have all the time in the world to learn how to do the job. In fact, when I was at the interview today, I told them up front, if I have any say in it, I would prefer not to work at the till, because if I did that, I'd be swamped. I wouldn't know how to deal with all these people at once. Because I've had to do that. I was in retail in Dublin. Um, so I was hoping for kind of like cleaning up, stockroom, pack mule. I honestly would do all the odd jobs, freeing up everyone to actually make the food and talk to the customers and do all that stuff. I'd be kind of like the slave in the back. I'd be the house elf of our happy place. Still, I do not regret asking. I do regret waking up that early. Carrick-on-Shannon is absolutely dead. The countryside does not wake up until about 10 o'clock in the morning. So I was there since around 8ish. That was fun. I do love this pub, but I prefer when I do these streams that I'm just. You know what I liked best about retail? I learned how to use the steam iron. I don't know why, but I just found that very soothing. So near the end of my time there, they just gave me this steam iron, and I had this sort of proton pack on my back, and it was just going up and down, up and down. I ended up And when they gave it to me, I'm like, hold on, you put it on your back, and they went like, no, you can leave it there on the side, but it has these straps, and they're like, well, you can use it on your back. I was like, but it'll scold you, and they're like, no, it won't. I actually found it easier just to strap it onto my back. So I went down to the basement, and they'd bring down all their merchandise, and they said like, here you go, boom, and that was my job. And then I had to organize everything in the boxes. It was it was a weird place to work at. The group of tourists go through. Oh God, I can imagine what that's like. We had to deal with a lot of actual gypsies, literally Roma gypsies with the bangles and everything. They would come into the store and they'd have all these prams, and we'd ask could they lift the prams things up, the blinders. And if the prams were empty, we said they'd have to leave the prams outside, because what they do is they would go around and they would just throw stuff into the prams, close the blinders, and walk out. I do to a degree as well. Uh, what was it? My dad was, his family was from Czechoslovakia, back when there was a Czechoslovakia, and he was Jewish, Slavic, but when his dad ran away from Hitler up to England, he ended up meeting an actual Roma gypsy, and they married. And for years, my dad was famous for telling tall tales, not like big fish sort of tall tales, but rather just outright lying. um, but my ma said no, she really was a Roma gypsy. I met her a few times before she died. She never met his dad, but she met the mother. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a bit of advice. If you ever want dual citizenship, Irish. Irish citizenship is so famous, useful. Hell, Ben, as in Ben Pie, he told me once that his family got dual citizenship because they were entitled to, because the Irish have this unique rule about it. But it wasn't so much for the Irish citizenship, it was for the EU citizenship. Because when you have an EU citizenship, you can go anywhere in the EU without having to go through customs, which is not always true these days. Yeah, what you do is, if you have Irish blood in you, you can apply if you have proof. I think it's up to 3 or 4 Jen. Ah, a Brit. That is different. That is very different. Because, of course, the UK, between Brexit and its unique custom status in the EU. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. If you do have dual citizenship, I have dual citizenship. Um, I haven't applied for a passport, but my ma was born in England and my dad was born in England. So I'm technically English by blood. If I were to die and 1,000 years later they did like DNA testing in my bones, they wouldn't be able to find any proof other than the average that I was Irish, other than the fact I was here. Like they found me in Ireland, but they would find so much proof that I was like, English. Um, but I'm entitled to that. I've never acted on it because honestly, the Irish passport is where it's at. You want the Irish passport to the point where that and Qatar are the two major ones that terrorists use when they try to pass through borders. They have fake ID, and it's the Irish passports, because Irish passports are always accepted. Irish, which is fucking stupid because the IRA existed at one point. Everyone should expect the Irish. It is, except for America. America doesn't apply to that rule. So going through American customs is always fun. Off in the States last month. I had never gone through those body scanners before, and it was an interesting experience. I've gone through the scanners before where you like are just the doorway, but I've never actually gone through the full body scanner. Look at me moving the camera around; you can't see my hands. You have to like hold your hands up, and at that time I had worn a bit of clothes that were a little bit too tight for me. The stomach was showing up, and my trousers started falling down, and oh, I looked the sight. I looked the sight. Yeah. Oh no. It used to be a time where a Canadian, would just get waved through, but yeah, it's no fun, is it? American customs. The very first time I did that, they took me aside and they completely emptied out all my bag in front of, not in front of everyone. They took me aside and they did that. And at the end of it, all they could find was, at the time I wasn't 21, I was 18, I'm sorry, 17. And I had a bottle of whiskey that I wasn't going to drink, I was going to give to a friend. It really was, like, so they made me empty the whole thing out in the toilet. That was fun. In a way, I've never really forgiven them. Um, I don't like, one thing I don't like about customs anywhere in the world these days? I don't like the way you have to take your shoes off. It's just because it's not always a guarantee. I've gone through with my shoes and I've gone through without my shoes. Um, so sometimes like you take your shoes off and then you have to put them back on, and if they got a bunch of laces, then of course you got to retie them. And you might have seen me before with the big trench coat and the fedora. That's what I flew over to America in. So getting unpacked is. I'm actually kind of glad the lines are so long because I end up having to kind of just take forever to get undressed enough that I won't be told to take stuff off. And even then, there's no guarantee that like what I'll have is to set it off. For example, one time, smart idea, very smart idea. Sometimes I do have some loafers that I sometimes fly out in, but you know, um, comfort. Never you yeah, full sweat gear, slip-ons and sweat gear. You have the right idea when you travel because forget how you look. It's about, and even then, like you can look fine doing that, but it's about comfort. And I always think also airability because airports you can build up a sweat in an airport, running from gate to gate, wearing the same clothes for like 15, 16 hours, if not more. It can end up absolutely making you stink with sweat. So comfort is key. If I ever fly over to Australia, which I'm going to do at some point, I'm going to just wear the most baggiest laundry day clothes I can when I show up to the airport. Um, and also, this is something I actually learned from Pitmonk. If you are only having one bag, their carry-on bag, always have a spare set of clothes that you can go into a bathroom while you're waiting for a gate. Let's say you've got a long flight ahead of you and you've got to transfer. Um, uh, yeah, yeah. Well, girls can get away with that more than guys, but you're absolutely right. PJs are just ideal. I've got some tracksuit bottoms I sometimes travel in, and they're just so comfortable. But yeah, just like have a spare set of clothes, and if one of your, let's say your shirt gets really sweaty, just go into the toilet and switch out it. Especially if you're a bit on the heavy side like I am. Um, I'm heading off to Scotland next month. It's my birthday. That compared to all the shit it took me to get to America, a drop in the ocean. It's just going to be a drop in the ocean. The only downside is I learned that I don't blame you on that. I've been traveling on planes all my life. Literally, I was one when I was on my first flight. But, and I was an airport boy. I was raised under I was raised under the shadow of Dublin Airport, but it doesn't it never stops being a little bit worrying. You are being strapped to a goddamn explosive device and being sent up to the sky, you know? Um, I can't stand turbulence myself. I just can't stand turbulence. It is the most horrible thing. All the turbulence to go through on the flight over to America. Um, Bedlam. As for Scotland, this will be my first time ever to Scotland. I am so looking forward to it. I'm going to Glasgow for about 4 days. I'll be doing a lot of streams there. I've already got so much planned to do. Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Even if I don't do half of it, it's still going to be great. Theresa May's on the way out. Alright, Anne. If you see me on later, pop in and say hi. Great talking to you. Theresa May's fucked.
The voting began. After weeks of speculation, there was confirmation this morning that the requisite number of letters of no confidence were in. Certain party MPs and today decides the future of the party leadership. Theresa May, ex-defiant, warned of the consequences of ousting her at this pivotal moment.
I'll probably have one more here, then go and grab dinner, and then when I'm back home, I'll do my stream.
Will put our country's future at risk and create uncertainty when we can least afford it. A new leader wouldn't be in place by the 21st of January legal deadline.
He just wants to flex his new mod muscle. So give him an excuse and make him feel important.
The new leader wouldn't have time to negotiate withdrawal agreement.
Anne's good people. I gotta go back on Pagans after stream. It's been a while.
Or rescinding Article 50, delaying or even stopping Brexit when people want us to get on with it.
Then it was on to the day job, taking questions in the House of
Never
Commons
give power to a
about
small
the
man.
deal
He'll abuse it.
currently stands.
Having told the media this morning that she's made progress, can she now update the House on what changes she has secured to her deal?
Theresa May was such an interim Prime Minister. Whoever comes after her is going to be the one that people will remember. Oh, nice. By the way, I was thinking of what game I could play. I'm thinking a multiplayer game, but not World of Warships. Oh, Legion, nice. Very rarely people do Legion, but I don't blame them. It kind of makes you an outcast for the rest of the game. It's very hard to find allies if you're not in the Legion, and your caps become half useless. You might as well just stick with barter. I think the hardest one to do is Legion. Just I'm always NCR. I'm NCR's darling.
Charles Walker. The result of the ballot held this evening is that the Parliamentary Party...
Come up with me and I will grab another pint. They're happy.
and against was 170. Under the rules set out in the constitution of the concerned party, no further conference vote can take place for at least.
Just get Arcade Gannon to do it for you.
Ireland correspondent Fiona Mitchell. Fiona, Theresa May lives to fight another day. Her problems are far from over.
Absolutely, that win of 200 votes in favour of her tonight is good news for her. Anything less than 170, and she would have really been in trouble.
Looks like there's a tiny lady beside my ear.
Really just edging out over the line. But quite frankly, when you are in as much crisis as Theresa May is, a win is a win. She's won tonight, but she will not be able to rest on her laurels because, of course, the big battle lies ahead, and that is getting her Brexit deal through a Commons vote. There doesn't seem to be any more resolution on that tonight than there was 48 hours ago.
Want to say hi? There's only one person in the chat right now.
Would vote against that
There you are.
Hi.
This is Dave.
Where is this person from?
Ah, this is an American.
American.
Oh wait, no. Stink, are you you're British, aren't you? I had a Canadian in here a few minutes. Ago. UK. I normally have just American fans, so I was surprised that I have really anyone outside of America.
Yeah. Well, these are, you wouldn't have met this person, no?
Oh no. This is. Whoa, you alright? That's a drink, man. That's a drink. Oh, I did it again, did it? I keep thinking that I'm. Oh wow. 2020. Where does mine?
Set a nice leading question as to who led the Tory party was not the issue. The leadership of them was the question of their policy and the policy on the backstop.
Here you go.
Many reasons the Conservative Party
Great stuff.
nothing will change in relation to the withdrawal agreement because they still need to have issues addressed. Having over 39 billion pounds of firm commitment as to one point now, and of course the Irish backstop issue,
Great
which
stuff.
is
Thanks.
certainly encouraged by many hundreds of MPs.
For hard Brexiteers, Theresa May isn't convincing. They argue much deeper changes required on the withdrawal agreement.
We must have a reset of negotiation and a reset in such a way to protect.
Right, I'll be right back.
Tory leadership may have been resolved, but the
Heineken. I normally drink Carlin, but it's out.
Paul Connor, RTÉ News, London.
Well, one of the Conservative MPs who supported Theresa May is with me now, Jeremy Lefroy, Conservative MP, who's also on that House of Commons Select Brexit Committee. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. You had backed Theresa May, so you must be very happy tonight.
Yes, I think it's a good result. I would have preferred to see the vote even more decisive than that, but nevertheless, with 200 votes out of 317, that's a pretty good margin of victory.
Still 117 who aren't
Yes.
happy with her.
Yes, absolutely, and that's something that she will no doubt want to very much in mind as she goes forward. I'm sure that will be for a number of reasons.
Do you think that's an indication of perhaps those members who would have voted against her deal had she put it to a vote on Tuesday? Monday?
Yes, I think maybe, but as I say, it's a
I return proud with the scars.
voting against or voting no confidence in the Prime Minister, but I'm very glad that, as I say, a very substantial majority of my colleagues are now.
I'm actually surprised she survived that vote with no confidence.
So what is the task ahead of her now as far as you're concerned?
She's
Well, she's
she seems like a very weak leader, honestly.
get the UK to leave the EU.
She clearly also doesn't want the job. You can tell that.
Is right. We have to do that in an orderly fashion and come to a new.
I thought David Cameron, he bit off more than he could chew, saying that if Brexit passed, he wouldn't stick about. He was doing all right financially, but you know, he wasn't really my he wasn't really my cup of tea, so to speak. That family that family tax benefit I thought was a little bit old school, a little bit religious. Gordon Brown was an absolute disaster. You could tell he's been waiting decades to get this position, and now that he got it, he had no idea what to do with it. But then again, in all fairness, he did have to go after Blair. The poor guy had to put up with the fact that Britain was sick and tired of new Labour. They almost wanted old Labour, and that's what Corbyn's all about. Except Corbyn's also a communist, so it's good to remind everyone what Labour used to be like. The 70s existed, and it was not good for anyone. You're English, you know this. They didn't raise our pay by 59 trillion %. Strike, strike, strike! Well, and as it's getting political, my battery is running low. So I'll knock this pint back, and then I'm done. I will be heading up to the pub to get the next to the Chinese, the lodge, to get what do you call it? Well, to get Chinese. After I have the Chinese, I will go live. But let's finish this first.
Legally binding guarantees or any legal mechanisms that would reassure.
Yeah, if you want to hop around, I'll probably be back in about an hour. I'm going to be knocking this back, ordering the food, getting the drink, picking up the food, eating the food, and then bam. I'm still thinking what game to play though. Any suggestions? I'm thinking Counter-Strike. I haven't played Counter-Strike since the original Counter-Strike. Like the very first one back in the day. So I'm going to get completely and utterly destroyed. Oh. Could be. By the way, it looks like the phone doesn't like when I stream and I have low battery. So I guess I'm wrapping up now. It was good talking to you both. I will be, and anyone else who watches this in the future. It's cool chatting with you. If you ever want it to be dated, I'll think of something. Either that, or I got Daggerfall working. So I am tempted to do Daggerfall. Is this an idea? But we'll see. Anyway, to anyone who watched, thank you so much for watching. Anyone who liked this, please consider subscribing if you're not already done so. And I will be back later on today. I'm honestly thinking it's going to be Daggerfall. At least at first, I think it might be Daggerfall. And then maybe some multiplayer. But, yeah. I'll be back in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. Because, you know, I want to eat my damn dinner. And we'll be doing Wasted Wednesday proper. So, until then, see you all soon. Bye.